Hey everyone, Rich here at Rich's Garage. I thought I'd show everybody what this looks like in primer. I'm about to go spray some color on these things. I figured I'd give you a quick look at everything in primer. Here's the frame. Came out pretty nice. Yep, that's that. I sprayed the bucket, the interior of the bucket. I'm still debating what I'm going to do with this. I said I was going to hand paint it, but I think I may spray it. I sprayed the bottom so I can match that to the color of the frame. This is the Detroit. So it came out nice. Looks good in gray even, so I'm going to get ready to spray this white. That's the bottom side. What I'm going to do now is, before I spray, is I'm going to mask the transmission, see if I can get in here. I may have to come back with a brush to get in there, but I'm going to take a shot at masking off the transmission. That's the engine, and on here we have all the other little pieces of the one rear. That's all there. Got the hubs, the shocks, drive shafts, some miscellaneous motor parts. Here's the other inboard rear assembly. So I'm going to, like I said, spray this. This is going to be a good weather weekend. But just to show you, in case you're curious what primer I used, so I used Rust-Oleum. This is automotive primer. It's fast drying, wet sandable. I let it sit for a couple of days just to make sure. The one thing I did do is in the middle of Hunter Selby's Mac videos, he did a video on decanting, and I never really thought about doing it, but I said, let me try this with the primer so I get a finer spray. And this is I'm not sure if this is 2 ounce or 2.5 ounce, but I have a Badger Crescendo 175 airbrush. It's a dual action brush, and I have the fine tip in it. It comes with 3 tips. And I have some evergreen tubing, but I was in Home Depot and they had a 18-inch long piece of, this is 1/2 inch Schedule 40 PVC for like $2 or $2.50. Actually 2 feet, there you go, 1/2 inch by 2 feet. So I cut down, I think this is like a 6 or 8 inch piece, and it's perfect. It fits just like that, so you can see the primer in it. But so if you want to decant, this is makes it nice and easy, no mess. So that's that. I just wanted to give you a quick look, and I'm off painting. Okay everyone, I'm back to show you some paint and some assembly. So first let me show you the engine. Now this is actually about a week since I said I was going to be right back after priming it. So here's I haven't glued this front piece because that gets sandwiches the cross member in the frame, but here she is. Let's try and keep this rotating without falling apart. So I painted the engine, and then I masked the engine, and I sprayed the transmission the color of the chassis, so you can see how that came out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with this. And then I painted the belts with a craft black. The fan I'm going to paint with the starter, and with the alternator I want to paint the radiator, the shroud with Model Master satin black, and I still have to clean up the radiator and the shroud and then prime that. So once I get ready to spray that, then I'll spray these pieces. The white is Createx airbrush colors. And something to keep in mind, after you spray this, and it sprays at a pretty high air pressure to your airbrush, they say, you can probably read this, it's 40 to 50 psi, and then they suggest hitting this with some heat to get it to set up once the dry. So here we go. So cure with heat. So usually what I do is let it sit for a day or two and dry, and then come back with a hot hair dryer and just go over it and get it to set, and then it's good to go. The red that you see, well, here I'll show you the flat black. This is the pure black, Folk Art Pure Black. That's what I brush painted on the belts. And also I'll show you, I used that on the airbags on the suspension. But the paint, the color for that I used, it's a Folk Art color, and I liked it when I saw. I didn't see anything in the enamels that I liked. I wasn't looking for, you know, a fire engine red, but I found this cardinal red that I really liked the way it came out. It took a few coats to get it the darkness that I wanted, but it really came out nice. So what I did was, this is a 3/4 ounce jar. I put, I guess it's about a, I don't know, 1:5 ratio. I put, I guess that's about an eighth of an inch of the Delta Ceramcoat gloss varnish, and then the rest was about a half bottle of the Folk Art paint, and it gave it kind of a satin. I have satin, but I decided to use the gloss. I happen to have it, so I can put a little gloss in it instead and see how that comes out. And I kind of like the way it came out with this semi-gloss. And then to that, I add golden airbrush medium. And what this is, it's a, again, you can probably read this for yourself a little bit if I show this up to you. But I like it a little bit better than using water. It doesn't dilute the pigment at all, and you know, it acts as a reducer. Helps it spray, and a little bit of a retarder as well. So the airbrush stays pretty clean. And like I said, I did several coats, so I'd spray it, let it sit, come back, spray it some more. So that's the paint. So let's show what that kind of looks like. I stayed with the original in the kit chrome. It's okay. Actually, it's pretty good. I shouldn't say it's okay. I think it's pretty good. I just don't have the calendar time to strip this down, paint it in aluminum. I'll just, at this point, I honestly don't think I'm going to finish on time. But, you know, that being said, I'm liking the way it's coming out. So I'm not throwing in the towel yet. But I don't want to rush it just for the sake of a deadline and screw something up and then not be happy with it. So it'll take as long as it takes, and that'll be that. Here you go with the rear tandems. So I had an interesting thing with these that you should check that I didn't, and it cost me a fair amount of time. Two of these hubs weren't drilled out all the way, and it just so happened the two hubs I put together seated all the way in, and it was a snug fit. Then I went to put the next axle assembly together, and they were too wide. So when I went to take them apart, the stiff ones, well, so first of all, when I was trying to push the ones that were on that were too shallow, I wound up popping off the trim rings, so I had to redo them. And then consequently pulling these apart, they were so snug, I wound up popping off the trim rings. So I've probably glued these sets of wheels, I'd say at least 3 times. I've probably mounted them at least 3 or 4 times as well. So it is what it is. I stuffed them with cotton to give them some body. I was going to scuff the tires again just in the interest of time. I didn't do that. So you see, I didn't touch them at all. I'm not going to glue this in solid. If I decide to come back and put aftermarket wheels and tires on it, I can do that. If I want to take them off and scuff them, I can do that as well. But for now, I'm going to, basically, it just came out of the shop with brand new wheels and tires. That's how it's going to be. Let me show you the frame. I left the rear off just to show you some details. I think so there you go. I just, with my finger pressure, popped this, so I got to re-glue this. So you see how much fun I've had with that, but I'll reset that. So there are the airbags. I brush painted them that black. I got the drive shafts in. Now, one other thing I did, I made a major mistake. When I put this together, I glued this back half of the axle assembly upside down. So I went to put this in the drive shafts because it hit this support. So I was like, oh, that's not great. Well, what I did was using a photo etch blade, saw blade, and I saw Hunter Selby using this, cutting some parts off. And said, oh, had no idea this type of stuff existed. I wound up searching and getting this online before I started the build. But with that, I was able to cut the rear cover off. Actually, it's one piece in the housing, but cut that off, rotate it 180 degrees, glue it back in, and I really barely need any putty. It did such a nice job with a nice smooth cut, and I was able to get in and cut all around it and take it off. So that saved me there, but it only took me about an hour to correct that. But so that's done. Okay, let me keep this in here. I gotta put the steering linkage on, but here you can see how all the paint came out nice. Like I said, I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I had test fit the front wheels, and these are going to have to get glued because this is a little bit of a mess here. Let me pop this on quick. So without gluing that, these I don't think these will rotate so well. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to drop the engine in, put the wheels on, let you take a look from a different angle of what this looks like. But just to give you an idea of what the paint looked like, I wanted to be able to show it up closer to you. This is the bottom of the interior bucket. I primed this. I think I may paint this interior color and then come in and paint the door panels, the bottom of them the same color. But this sits somewhere like this. Right. So what I did here was I sprayed this deck plate with a Rust-Oleum matte finish and this without, just to see how it would come out. And I'm going to go with that on this and not strip these. I think I'm going to, I kind of like the way it you know, it's not blinding. It's going to look something like, you know, to give you a little comparison of the two. I don't know if you guys will be able to see so well, but I kind of like the way that it just takes the edge off of the chrome work. You know, in the perfect world, I would strip it and maybe paint the same color as the deck, and I may wind up doing that eventually, but I'm trying to get this done. I know I have to go on another little trip for work for another couple of days, sometime in the next 2 weeks, and so today is the, what's today? Today is the 15th. So basically, we're 2 weeks away from having to be done, and I haven't even touched the cab. So I'm about a week and a half behind where I want it to be. But I'm happy with where I'm at as far as how things are turning out. So let me pause this. I'll put this together and give you a quick look. Okay, so here we have a ground level view. We're going to do a little walk around here. See if I can do this relatively steady. Front wheel. So like I said, I really like the way it's coming together. The trans and the cardinal red really is really a nice color. And you're just going to have to wait and see what I paint the cab. I'll have to surprise you. And I want to thank everybody who's been watching. I see that there's been a fair amount of guys following along, and I hope you're enjoying it. Like I said, I'm enjoying the build. It's just I'm not a fast builder, I guess, is what it comes down to. I'm kind of amazed at the guys who can have 2, 3, 4 builds going on at the same time. That's definitely not me. I'm more of a serial builder in that respect, that if I get too many irons in the fire, then I wind up having a lot of partial stuff and nothing done. So that kind of wears on me. So I rather finish something, and kind of motivates me to finish what I'm working on. So there you go. So I gotta paint those little adapter hubs for the wheels. If this video is too long, I'll probably cut it into 2. But there you have it. So it's Wednesday night. Hopefully we'll get some more done. You know, for the weekend, I'm certainly going to get something done, I'm sure. And Let's end with this here. Let's get a good shot. There we go. And like I said, I'll try and post something this weekend. And thanks for watching. Hope everybody else is progressing a little quicker than I am. And we'll talk to you later.